Here's a short presentation looking at how you can make presentations more appealing and more engaging for students. So the first trick is to pick a template that has an image in the background. It doesn't really matter what it is because we're going to replace the image. Then we right click on the back and we click here with change image. We can check our stock images if we want, or you can do a Google search. Let's say it's going to be something to do with school, so I might just search for classroom. Nothing comes out, so I'm not going to do a stock image check. I'm going to look from online sources. So classroom, and it doesn't really matter what you get because you'll see in a sec what we're going to do. So once we've chosen our image, we're going to want it to cover the whole back of the screen. You can go off the screen a little bit if you want and then just readjust it, which is fine. And then we're going to click on this fourth right button here. We're going to click on picture corrections. We're going to choose our brightness contrast, and you can either just run it down yourself until it's actually really, really dark, and you can only just see it because you don't really want the focus to be on the words at the front, and so you can kind of just see that there's an image behind. So there's our first thing. We've got our background now, and all we're going to do is Control C and Control V a few times, so we've got a slide with a background to work off. So the next thing we want to do is obviously put our text in. Make sure your font's big. So let's say we've kept this as our title slide. Here we might turn this into our title, turn this into our text. I quite like this font, so I'd probably stick with this font. But the thing is, we don't want too much text on here. So I'm going to only write with this first half of the screen. And on the other side, I want images. So let's say we're doing persuasive techniques. So I cut straight into images. So I'm going to write a keyword like argue, and then I'm going to follow it with transparent. And then I'm going to flick down. I'm going to look for an image. Since I've got a black background, I want something that's going to be relatively light. And then over here, I'm just going to right click, save image as, and I'll just save it to my desktop. So then we open our PowerPoint and we literally just drag the image on top, and you can see how it's got that clear background now. So it doesn't stand out like images with a white background would. Now with text, I'm just going to keep it really, really simple. It's just going to be keywords or very, very short sentences. The last thing you want to be doing is reading off your PowerPoint. I think we all know how effective presentations kind of work. If you're wanting to use a bit of a text or something from a PDF, just use your snipping tool. So click on Windows and write snip. Snipping tool opens. It's a little window like this. You click on New, and then you just literally drag and drop whatever part of your screen you want to cut and paste. And here you can either just save that, or you can open and edit it in Paint 3D. This is obviously just if you're using Windows, and so you might want to do this if you want to be sticking arrows and that sort of thing onto it. So I can open the 3D library and just write arrow, and then I'm going to pick a nice 3D arrow. I'm going to make it the right size I want, rotate it the way I want. I'm going to twist it a little bit so you can see that it's 3D as well. Have it pointing to maybe the bit of the page or the bit of the text that you want to highlight, and then I'm going to save my image as, whichever way it is. The only other thing is probably want to be using transitions. We know about transitions. I don't think I need to explain this to everyone, but with PowerPoint, you literally just keep your the first thing you're going to talk about already on the page, and then let's just add, let's say I've got 3 sentences that I want to add here. So the first ones are going to come on. Second one, I just highlight, animate, appear, and a little animation pane up here. If it doesn't show up, make sure you've got this open. And if you've got images coming in, so let's say I want this image to come in at the same time, I'm going to click on this image and click appear. And underneath, I don't want that to appear on a click, so I'm going to right click on that and say start with previous. So when the first one comes in, the image is going to come in. Then I highlight the second one. Same thing. So appear on click and highlight the third one. So that appears on click as well. So that way your short phrases are just coming in as you're about to talk to them. The trick is make it look appealing. That's why we kind of use these interesting backgrounds that we just drop it down so you can just see just a hint of what's going on. Keep your text short, to the point, succinct, use a reasonably large font. Don't get too fancy with the fonts that you choose. Use your transitions, put in funky arrows and that sort of stuff. Don't read your slides. You should know what you're going to be saying, and you should be talking around the images and the keywords, and try to keep it short. If your if your presentation goes for longer than 6 minutes, cut it down to 2 or 3 3-minute videos instead. So it gives the kids a chance to, they don't have a chance to zone out. By the time they're starting to lose interest, the video is finished, and then they've maybe got a task to do before they go on to the next one. So they're really, really basic tricks, and I'm sure I'm not telling you things you don't already know, but hopefully it'll help you create presentations a little bit more engaging for our students.